to Deadly Dames, and this is just a quick movie review of I Am Not a Serial Killer. So, I remember when I picked this movie up, a couple of people had said, let me know what you think about it. And that's really the only reason I decided to do a review of it. Because I still don't 100% know how I feel about this movie. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It's really, really hard to describe. So basically the movie is about this kid who's kind of a sociopath. He doesn't really care about anybody or anything or have any sort of normal feelings. And he's seen a therapist and discussing how he doesn't want to turn into a serial killer. He's doing everything he possibly can to stop himself from turning into a serial killer. He works with his mum, who owns a morgue, so she has like an undertaker's, I'm guessing, played by Laura Fraser actually, who she's a Scottish actress, kind of underrated, but surprised to see her in this movie. Off topic, sorry. So basically, the movie's kind of following serial killings happening in their town, so people start dying, and they're like horrific deaths where it looks like they've been cut by chainsaws or ripped apart by animals, and he starts to become obsessed with it and wants to know who's killing people in his sleepy town. Now, up until this point, it's kind of normal, but then the movie takes like a sharp left and goes somewhere completely different, because it all of a sudden starts to become a creature feature. And I probably am saying a couple of spoilers in this, but to be fair, this movie is very strange, and I think even if you did know the spoiler, you still would be sitting there going, I don't really know what's going on. As I said, it's not bad, but it's not like a... I'm actually struggling on how to describe it. It's not a bad movie. I enjoyed the film, but it was just a very strange movie is the way to describe it. And not strange like haha, and not strange like good strange. Just very weird. It almost seemed like too many genres smushed into one film. Christopher Lloyd's in this, and he plays an old neighbour who this young boy kind of befriends. And it kind of feels like a mix-up of Dexter, you know, like the serial killer thinking he's... Obviously in Dexter he does kill, but a lot of the times he's trying to behave normal. So it feels like a mix-up of Dexter meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Thing. The creature itself is actually quite interesting, and I really did enjoy it when you realise that these killings are being done by a creature and not actually by a person. But the build-up to the end, it takes an awful long time to get there, and by the time it does get there, you kind of have lost interest a little bit. The ending itself was actually quite good. I really did enjoy the standoff between the monster and the mum and her son, and I kind of liked how it all ended. But it was a very slow-paced movie. It kind of reminded me of Under the Skin, you know, the one with Scarlett Johansson in it. Although with that one, it left me wanting more. I wanted to know more because there was a lot of gaps that were sort of missed. And although they don't really explain to you in this movie where the creature comes from or like why it does some of the things it does. I mean, obviously some of it's explained, some of it's not. And I like movies like that. I like movies that don't need to explain stuff to you. But unlike Under the Skin, where I did want to know more, I didn't actually want to know more about this movie. And Claire and I, we've been talking, because we watched it together. Unfortunately, she's working, otherwise she'd be doing this review as well. We were left thinking, would we watch this film again? I don't actually think I would. But don't let that put you off the film, because I think it's one of those movies that it's an interesting film. It's certainly an interesting take. Now, maybe it's just my opinion, but I maybe would have liked to have seen it done more like Rear Window, or like Disturbia, which is obviously just basically a reimagining of Rear Window, or Fright Night, that sort of story where the kid's staring out the window and sees the neighbour doing stuff. I think if they left out the serial killer aspect of it and made the kid in this movie a little bit more likeable, because I didn't think he was likeable, and I don't know if that was done on purpose, that they made him a sociopath to try and explain the reason why he does some things. But to be fair, if I was a child and I looked at my window and realised that one of my neighbours or somebody in my neighbourhood was a monster, I would be a nosy bugger as well, and I'd want to follow him and find out more. So I don't think that it was really needed that he had to be such a distant kid. Trying to think of another way to put it, like a sort of emotionless kid. I would have perhaps liked to have seen this movie with just a sort of normal teenager, doing normal teenage things, discovering this. But I suppose then it wouldn't have been as unique as what it is. I think some of the stuff that happens in it, like his reasoning behind what he does, it doesn't really make sense until he does it, and you kind of lost track of the film. Like the flow of the film was interrupted by that because it wasn't really 100% clear what he was up to. I mean, in fact, at one stage, Claire and I were looking at each other thinking, why is he doing this? So, I mean, obviously that person's going to know what he's up to. Why is he doing it? And then after the event, we realised why he was doing it, but it interrupted the flow of the movie and us enjoying the movie because we were like, it doesn't make sense. And I think, to be honest, the makers of this film probably did that on purpose. Overall, I think it was a good movie. As I said, I'm not entirely sure whether I liked it, but I'm also not entirely sure whether I didn't like it. I think it's just going to be one of those movies that leaves you sitting on the fence thinking, was that good? To be fair, I don't think this is a movie I'm going to remember. Like, I think in a couple of years' time, if somebody said, oh, do you remember I Am Not a Serial Killer? I'm probably going to go, no, briefly, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know about this movie. I would say that if you're willing to take a chance on something and you like things like some of the movies I've mentioned previously, like Under the Skin and things like that, and sort of monster movies that try something a little bit different, then maybe this is a movie for you to try. It wasn't bad the way it was done. I didn't believe his relationships with anybody, and I think, to be honest, I would have much preferred this movie had I liked the main character, but I didn't. But I would say that if you fancy giving it a go, give it a go, but I wouldn't rush out there and pick it up. But yeah, this was actually probably the worst movie review that I could try and do, because I didn't hate the movie, but I don't love the movie either. So it's a neutral movie review. Not a bad film, but probably wouldn't watch it again. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing another Arrow movie review. I have already watched the original theatrical release of the movie, but I'd quite like to give the director's cut a little peek as well before I do a review. Mainly because my sister told me the director's cut is so crap. I want to judge it myself if I'm going to do a review of this movie and this box set and all the special features. I want to watch the whole thing. So I will be doing another Arrow movie review and another 88 movie review as soon as I get some time. But until then, let me know what you thought about I Am Not a Serial Killer. Did you come out feeling the same as me? It'd be interesting to see how everybody else felt about it. But as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care.